To Crunchyroll now using AI subtitles for its newest anime, Nokotan as a good example, to them disabling the comment section on their entire website for news articles and even anime episodes. You can no longer see the comment section here. I'll even reload just to prove the point. This is the last episode of Mushoku Tensei Season 2, and as you can see, there is literally no comment section. I'm even signed in just to prove a point. And if you go to my video I literally made yesterday, when I uploaded a Tower of God video, you could see the comment section. So yeah, this is legitimately a change that just happened like a few hours ago, like 6 or so hours ago, and it's obviously making the rounds in the anime community. But let's start with the subtitles first, because obviously this is something that is an ongoing story that I've been kind of covering on the channel for almost a year at this point, but the reason why this is obviously happening is for a variety of reasons. For one, companies nowadays, they are investing more in AI. We've seen it with many different sites. I mean, hell, you look over here on the left, you can see Grok, which is like an AI algorithm thing that Twitter uses. You have Google using AI. You have just all different sites needing their own algorithm with AI, etc. It's just been an ongoing thing for a few years now, and it's definitely progressing, and, love it or hate it, regardless if you dislike AI, it's very clear that companies want to use AI a lot more than they did in the past. And obviously, with the inclusion of AI, that means that, people with actual, real jobs are going to lose their jobs to said AI, because AI is going to take their jobs away. Translators being replaced by AI is something that the community has been a little bit mixed on for at least a good year now. And the reason for that, it all kind of goes back around to Maid Dragon. Anyone that remembers, at the beginning of this year to late at the end of last year, there was a lot of drama. A lot of people were finding out basically about, how a lot of localizers were changing subtitles to have propaganda or agenda pushing, etc. Basically having political messages thrown into anime subtitles that really shouldn't have been there. But you even have dubs as well that just straight up changes the entire series just to fit a message for the audience. A lot of people started finding out about that. I made a few videos talking about it. Even Asmongold talked about that as well at the beginning of this year. He found out about it, and obviously, as I covered in those videos, even the translator that was kind of responsible, or a localizer that was responsible for it, just straight up blocked me when I never even talked to them. I never even really made a video on the topic, and then I was already blocked. So it says a lot about the whole entire situation. So getting into the main point, for a while now, obviously, the community has been split to where it's like, they don't want AI because obviously actual human translating things is better in the grand scheme of things, and that's just case in point right there. But the thing is that there has been so many bad actors within the space for a while now that has just done irreparable damage to anime and manga translations that people just don't trust translators anymore to the same degree as fan translations, and so they welcome AI replacing these translators, which if you look at these posts, if you go into the comments, etc., you go into the quote retweets and all that, you will find many people basically saying that this is a good thing, that, translators or localizers are being replaced by AI. Because anyone that sat down and watched the first episode of Nokotan, this entire translation for Nokotan is AI. It is an AI translation. Now, to be blunt with you, I'm going to be completely blunt, I have not watched this translation. I watched the fan translation that came out like 4 or 5 days ago. As you remember, I made a video on, Nokotan, making a brief little, shit post video, basically, with the music and stuff, with the Dark Souls music, and I watched the fan translation before the official came out. But from what I have heard, and reading through, the section of what people have been saying about, the translations, despite a little bit inaccuracies here and there, for the most part, it keeps to the point, and it's just a literal translation, and there's just a little bit with pronunciation or something that's a little bit messed up within it, but overall the translations are really good. And so basically nobody knew about it until the episode came out and the news broke. So basically what it lets us know is that people are like, wow, AI translations really aren't that bad. Now, I'm not going to get into that whole can of worms, etc., because I am still a part of the party that believes that an actual human translating is better than an AI. But I do think that, obviously, the reason why people are celebrating an AI doing this is because, obviously, there's just been so many bad actors as of late for a very long time that just continue to have this space to push this agenda within different shows that people are tired of it. It's kind of like journalism. When you think about, game journalists, etc., obviously, game journalists are always memed on, they're, crapped on all the time because, they can't play games right or etc. You see that all the time. But obviously there is probably a few game journalists that aren't really good at their job. But because there's just such a overwhelming saturation of bad actors within that space, people just joke and meme on the entire game journalist part of the industry. And the same can be said basically now for translators, at least when it comes to official anime, and dubbing as well. So, yeah, the point is that there is actual really good translators that, it makes me sad they're going to lose their job, but once again, this is the result of a few things. Companies, obviously, they want to use AI now to cut cost. I mean, they obviously, it looks really good with the stockholders and everybody at the top, like the big CEOs, etc., because obviously AI is in the new, everybody needs it, they want to see how they're, reinventing things or innovating the company, etc. So this was just bound to happen to begin with. And just a new trend, every company basically needs some form of AI associated with it, so it was just bound to happen. So to kind of summarize all this is pretty much the continuation of an ongoing story. The consequences of a lot of bad actors is, actions, and obviously people that are legitimately good within the industry just having to face the repercussions as well. But overall though, I mean, from what I've heard, the Nokotan translation is pretty good, so yeah, I mean, it's playing devil's advocate. But anyways, let's move into the next topic of discussion, which is the comment section. So Crunchyroll has fully disabled their comment section on their site, and the reason for it is because apparently of this. So this was made news to me literally this morning once this information came out, and basically apparently there was a lot of toxicity. People were just straight up review bombing, a new anime called Twilight Out of Focus that was on Crunchyroll, like a new series for its BL-like themes. Now, this kind of connects with a lot of things going on, even with the translations, with, political agenda pushing, etc. You have stuff like that, and people are assuming that since it's a BL show and all that, it straight up is trying to push an agenda. But here's the thing, as an anime fan that's been a part of this culture for decades at this point, BL has always been a part of the anime and manga space. It has. I mean, you go back 12 years ago, Fujoshis were a big thing that everybody talked about. You don't really hear that term much anymore. I wonder why. But the point of the matter is that there was a lot of BL lovers. People loved, just different BL shows. I mean, Yuri on Ice was a big one that got a lot of people into it. Obviously, Killing Stalking, all those different type of series. And BL's always been a space within the anime manga community for a very long time. It's nothing relatively new. It's basically the same thing you see with Yuri shows, like, Girls Band or whatever. It's just like, when you think about, the situation, it's kind of wild to see just so much toxicity around a BL show and all that. Now, personally, I have not watched it, so I can't confirm everything, and obviously, since the comments are disabled, I can't confirm if this is all legit or not, but basically, there was a lot of bad actors as well within the comment section being very toxic for a BL show, and Crunchyroll effectively shut it down. They completely shut down the comment section, not just on that series, but on the entire platform, and I'm just, scratching my head okay, look, I understand that you don't like review bombing, you don't like toxicity, I understand that. I do understand Crunchyroll trying to protect their space to a degree, to protect the community. But completely closing off all the comment sections because of a few bad actors on one episode on one series, when you have hundreds upon hundreds of series on your site that's probably had a lot of controversy associated with it as well, just feels like it is overdramatic, like they are just going too far. They're pushing that, line way too hard to close down the comment section. Basically, if I had to take an educated guess, Crunchyroll wanted to close the comment section to begin with. They've been wanting to get rid of it for a while. I mean, the same can be said for when you go to, YouTube. When you go to YouTube for, certain videos or news channels, etc., the comment section's always disabled because companies don't want, obviously, to have their image look bad. That's why the dislike bar was removed on YouTube, and that was the big reason, is because, obviously, it promoted, making news companies or certain individuals looking really bad, like official companies, because the dislike bar would be 50,000 dislikes, only 1,000 likes, and obviously companies don't like that. They might not want to advertise on YouTube if the dislike bar is just so massive and they can't build an audience. So because of that, Crunchyroll potentially disabling the comment section was basically an ongoing move just to completely, cut any form of dissatisfaction or negativity around series. And I think one of the big reasons or causes for this probably is because of sponsorships, etc. And let me talk about that. So, as someone that has done sponsorships in the past, and I've talked about products, etc., when it comes to being sponsored by things or having the privilege to host certain things, Usually what it means is you can't really talk negatively about that said product. For instance, like if there is a series that Crunchyroll is offering, or if I was offering a series, etc. on a video, you can't really talk negatively about that product too much, or those companies might not work with you ever again. And in this case, I feel like Crunchyroll shutting down this comment section more or less is like damage control, because obviously they have a lot of connections in the industry. They have a lot of people they work with Sony, etc., and different companies in Japan. And so to maintain that potential connection with partners, etc., they probably close down the comment section because they don't want that to reflect badly on them when they try to make discussions behind closed doors to have content sponsored, etc. That's my assumption. But regardless of that perspective, I do think that this is really bad for Crunchyroll to close down the comment section, because I feel like one of the biggest aspects of any anime and its growth is the discussion. I didn't use the community, comment section for Crunchyroll a lot, but I did read it. I did read it often. I didn't comment a lot, and it was interesting just seeing people's reactions. And for them to disable that really is going to cause a lot of, disconnect with the actual site, with the actual audience, and I feel like that's just, not a good thing. I think Crunchyroll really just shot themselves in the foot. I don't think this was a good idea by any means, them doing this, and it's a key feature that, a lot of people have loved for a very long time, and then just to randomly shut it down thanks to, some really toxic individuals on one series, on one episode, I think is quite the overreaction, because there's been a lot more toxic series, and a lot more toxic fan bases on Crunchyroll potentially than just, this BL anime. I'm just going to be blunt. But obviously, Crunchyroll be Crunchyroll, and they continuously do things that sometimes it's just not for the best. But I'll leave it at that. I wanted to talk about this. This was a lot of stuff that came out today. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about, Crunchyroll using AI subtitles now? How do you feel about Crunchyroll disabling the comments section? Be honest in the comments below. I'm legitimately curious. But with that, love you guys. Chibi out.